Well, I want to tell you about my day today, guys. I drove a bunch of kilometers in my Challenger today. So now we have this HHTV t-shirt. Like, the material is a bit on the cheap side. I think they have a different version there, which is like premium, but this one is pretty, pretty thin. I'm just comparing to like this one, like regular t-shirt, this is just black, and I think this is thicker, whereas this one is just, cheap. But I like, so over here it says HHTV, Heavy Haul TV, the name of my channel, and then on the back it says SERGEI DRATCHEV Heavy Haul, So just even for marketing purposes, I think it's a good idea. So anyway, what I did today is I didn't do a lot about trucking, and I brought this from my car. So some green tea in my kettle, and that's my this thing over here where I brew the tea, and I brought this because I picked up my new printer Friday. So this is Office Jet 200, like basically the next model after 100, like the newer version. It's super small. I like it. It's like very, like the footprint is smaller than 100, and as I mentioned before, that one just died. 100 just there was the cram, like this part, this inside where the cartridges sit, it just stopped moving. It got stuck finally, but that print is like 5-6 years old. So I just brought it with me to familiarize myself with this model, because I'll be printing tomorrow. But yeah, today's Saturday, so I'm staying at the hotel till tomorrow morning. And this package was from a guy in Pennsylvania, George. He sent me a t-shirt, pretty cool t-shirt. I forgot the name of the state, but it was some kind of like one of those state t-shirts, like with the name of the state. I like those. I like collecting t-shirts where, from all states where I go, because then they look a bit exotic when you're back in Canada, right? Because you're walking down the street and it says, something like, "Hey, Alabama," so people, hey, wait a second, that's a well-traveled guy. He'd been to Alabama, And as you can see, it was raining, so the windows are all dirty. I don't think it's raining now. It's just like a real cloudy. But it was super hot. It was about 90 F or 30 C plus 30 C. And so anyway, so what I was doing today, the main thing in the morning. So now finally all our restaurants and most importantly Starbucks, coffee shops, my second home, are now open for dining, not just takeout. So you no longer have to sit inside your car with the coffee. You can sit inside. And what they did is they just spread out the table. So now instead of, let's say, 50 people, maybe 15 people can sit, but at least you have access to Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi, and most importantly, you have access to power. Because I always sit there, and then 3-4 hours later, your laptop, like when I'm in the car, your laptop dies. I tried all these charges. My MacBook requires lots of power, so you have to run the engine, even like in a car. So anyway, now it's open. So I went this morning, drove this morning to Starbucks, and what I did is I'm thinking about like what will I need Monday for loading. So I'm moving another part of the crane, the same crane I brought yesterday, only this is a smaller part. But I would say this part is more important, because without this part you have nowhere to connect that superstructure, and you have nowhere to connect the tracks. So it's like the key element of the crane, even though it's not the heaviest part. But With this one on your trailer, you definitely have some leverage over freight brokers. Just kidding. And so I was thinking, what do I need, right? Okay, first of all, I need to set up empty border crossing on the way from Canada. You have to set it up. And then I need to do create a bill of lading and create my invoice that I will send to the broker for payment. But this time it was easy because its shipper is the same, consignee is the same, description of the load is pretty much the same, parts of a disassembled Terex 6800 monster crane. That's how you just put it, monster crane, in the bill of lading. And so whereas before parts of the crane it said dash superstructure, now I just changed that one word for car body. That's what they call it, car body, basically the frame under the superstructure. So I did that one, but it didn't print out yet. I just saved it as PDF and I did my invoice, so everything is ready. And then I drove to Woodbridge, Ontario, which is also known as Vaughan, because I finally found a buyer for my Canon EOS R camera, since I'm getting a new one, R6, but it's coming at the end of August. But you know, while this one is still fairly new, I thought I would try to sell it, and so I sold it for like a couple $1,000, you know, pretty much the same price that I paid for it. But because I lucked out, I bought it in the States at a discounted price. There was like a very nice sale, so now I sold it, and the guy did not mind that the box, on the box it said USA, USA, USA. And of course we're in Canada, and he's like, oh, what kind of warranty do I get? And I'm like, buddy, when you buy used, there's no warranty unless the previous owner paid extra for some premium, you know, service plan, then it's transferable. But regular stuff, if you buy a used item, there's no warranty. The warranty remains with the original, with the owner. But most of the time, if something breaks down and you show up at the shop, they will take care of it. They just go by the serial number. I don't think they care about the name of the owner, because nobody registers this stuff anymore. Like before, you know, long time ago, people would go on the web or send a postcard somewhere, then they register, right? So then, let's say Canon in this case, okay, they look up the serial number, they know that the owner's name is so and so. But nowadays nobody does it, so I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% that if something breaks down, they just go by the serial number. So in this case, they would look it up. If this was like a gray model, which I was actually planning to buy, like a gray, you know, like we're in Canada in the States, right? But when they put in the serial number, it'll show origin, like market, let's say Indonesia, Malaysia, you know, India. They would not service it here. Like I heard some horror stories, you know, where people buy this cheap stuff and it's a gray market. Yeah, it's cheaper, but then the manufacturers shops refuse to deal with it in US and Canada. But at least in this case, I thought I was buying a gray market thing, but when I got the box, on the box it says USA, so it's a legitimate US model. I just got it at a discount, right? And so some Chinese guy showed up, but he lives in Markham, like in the east of Toronto, and I'm in Cambridge to the west. And so we agreed that we're gonna meet somewhere in the middle, like in Woodbridge, near Highway 7 and 400. So he showed up with his wife, with a small kid, and the wife refused to shake hands with me when I said that I just came from US. You know, we were doing like this, you know, fist bump. So the husband said fine, but then the wife was holding this tiny little kid, right? And when I tried to do the fist bump at the end, she's like, oh, it's okay. She's afraid. But we were all wearing masks, you know, like we outside, and I show him the camera, and we are at my car, and I give him the box, the original box, and he also got the lens. I'm gonna buy it again, but you know, I don't need it for another month. I might get cheaper, so I sold him the camera with the 35mm lens. He gave me cash. So I had some, I found McDonald's. Yeah, I found McDonald's over there. I was hungry, and I got my typical 10 10 beef patties in a plate. Of course, some eyebrows were raised, but I went through the drive-through. It was 14 bucks Canadian after tax, but for some reason they tasted like one of those steak patties, you know, like they have these premium burger, because they tasted much better than a regular beef patties, you know, from a hamburger. So I barely finished them, you know, 10 chunks of meat, and they had some kind of spicy stuff on them, like some kind of I think it was like some chopped onion or something. So that was my lunch, and then I drove back in my Challenger, averaging no comment speed, well, staying within with the traffic. And the traffic is 1 second it's doing 50 kilometers an hour, 30 miles an hour, then it's doing 80, you know. And I drove to Cambridge. I stopped by the bank, and the bank is closed, so I just used the, you know, ATM to deposit the money. Everything is good. Sure, it says available right now, like no hold, because it's cash. And then I drove to my truck. Now this time, because I did not disconnect the Jeep, I was so tired, I didn't, guys, to load the Jeep on the trailer when we finished loading like I was supposed to, right? But I know that my next load, I need the Jeep. And the funny thing is that I don't need the Jeep in Michigan or Indiana, because the load is only 103,000 pounds. And they gave me 24,000. I know they gave me last time, right? They gave me 24,000 per axle on the back. So I don't need a booster. I don't need a Jeep in Michigan and Indiana where I'm loading. But as soon as I enter Canada, since you know, I'm trying to use my enhanced annual permit for Ontario, under that special permit that I have, annual, costs 740 bucks Canadian. By the way, mine expires in, I think, at the end of September, so I have to renew it. But they just send you a little letter that says if you want to renew, just go online, and if nothing changed, just, you know, all they want from you is the payment. And then just they send you I think they even send you a file nowadays. It's not just mail. That, you know, the government is trying to reduce the cost. I think they can just send you an email, like a PDF, and you print it out. So that's much easier. So under that permit, in order to be able to gross 78,000 kgs or 172,000 pounds, you need a regular truck, total of 3 axles, right? You need a tandem Jeep, and you need a quad trailer, 4-axle trailer. So only then you can gross 172,000 pounds. If you don't have a Jeep, but you just use your pusher axle, so 8 axles, from 172, your permitted gross goes down to 156, I think, which is like 71,000 kgs. So basically, even though you technically don't need that Jeep, because, but that's what they want. So, and I was thinking maybe I should just leave this Jeep somewhere on the Canadian side. I found one truck stop on the Canadian side. They said, yeah, you can leave it here. But then, you know, that Jeep is 55,000 bucks Canadian. It's only a couple of months old. Of course, you can buy all these locks and stuff like that, but I didn't feel like leaving it here. And so I'm gonna take it with me to the loading place. I'll pay a bit extra for being, you know, long, but it's okay. And so because I'm so long, I could not park the truck in my actual parking yard. I just left it at a truck stop near Cambridge there, and I took an Uber to my car, and then I took my car and I went to this hotel, right? And so now when I put the money in the bank, I drove to the truck stop, you know, to check on the truck to make sure nobody stole anything. And also I was thinking, like, how do I cut that chain? You know, like, I don't have that grinder. I don't have these tools because I don't need them, you know, too often. And so I was thinking, what shop can I go to cut that chain into 4 5-foot long pieces, right? And I tried Princess Auto, like it's kind of like a Harbor Freight kind of deal, like what they have in the States, right? We have this Princess Auto. They sell all this stuff, you know, for your home, for your farm, you know, chains, binders, and I'm pretty sure they have a cutter, or they have this grinder or saw in there. And so I called them. I said, hey guys, can you cut my chain? Like, I did not buy it from you. Can you cut a chain? And they said no. And that's what I hear time and time again from many places. Like, unless you bought it from them, they refuse to cut it. And so then I'm thinking, okay, who else can have these tools, right? Wait a second. What about Kenworth? And yeah, and many places, of course, are closed because this is the weekend. And so I'm thinking, wait, Kenworth in Cambridge, these guys open 7 days a week. I'm pretty sure they have the tools to cut a chain, because they do, you know, all kinds of work in there, right? So I drive there in my fancy Challenger, go inside and talk to the guy in the service there, and he says, okay, give me the chain. He takes the chain and he uses a welder to like a torch, right, with a big tank of some gas, some mysterious gas, laughing gas. And he asks me what the length should be. I said, yeah, make it 5. And then he comes over, he says, because you're gonna lose one link, and he says, I need to do 3 cuts, right? So to make 4 pieces, so you're using three links. So he says, if I make 2 chains 5 foot long, then the others are shorter. And I went over, I said, don't worry. I said, that's fine. I said, just give me one 5 foot long, another one 5 foot long, and then split the difference. And so he gave me 2 5-footers and 2 like 4 and 6 inch. So, which is fine, you know, because now I have these big, you know, slip hooks right on this special binder. And so all I have to do now when I get back to my truck tomorrow, I just have to attach those slip hooks to these 2 chains that have no hooks at all. And so I will have 4 new chains, 2 with 1 slip hook on the end and 2 with 1 grab hook on the end, because I don't need 2 hooks, you know. And so that one was accomplished. The guy didn't even want to take any money. So I managed to give him something, just a couple of bucks, you know. He says, okay, that'll be for coffee. And then I drove back. I went to Starbucks, was researching my route, where I'm loading, how I'm getting out of there, you know. Spend a bunch of time like planning, you know, where do I stop for the night? Like, I'm gonna leave tomorrow morning, where do I stop? I wanna stop somewhere within 60 miles of the destination, some nice. So I found a rest area like 40 miles away from my consignee, from my shipper. And so tomorrow all I gotta do is 600 kilometers, or about 350 miles. And that brings me to my last set of chores for the day. I have the printer, but I didn't study it yet, how to use it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't even have a cable. It's all Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. I hate those, but that's the, you know, modern printers. So that's why I brought that manual with me. So when I came to the hotel, I asked the lady at the reception, I said, do you have a printer here? Can you print out something? And she says, yeah, there's a business station there. And I look, and there's 2 computers with a printer. Everything is free as long as you're staying at the hotel, right? And I said, so I can print out files from a USB stick? She says, yeah, okay. And so I went up to my room. My key does not work. So I go back, I show her my ID. I said, I'm sorry, but probably I put my key somewhere near metal parts or near my cell phone. So she checks my ID, she reprograms my key. And I'm thinking, wait, so why would I go up and then I still have to do, I have to move files to my USB stick and then bring it down? I have the computer with me, I have the USB stick with me. And I told the lady, I said, okay, I'm gonna just settle down here at this nice little area over there. They have a bunch of super cozy chairs, you know. So open my computer, the Wi-Fi is free, the same Wi-Fi as what you have here in the room. And I did, yeah, I first, of course, I had to do my ACE. Took me like 5 minutes to go online and prepare my ACE manifest, because you have to do it so that the customs expect you even when you are empty. And so it's just one sheet of paper called ACE e-manifest, and it has my company name, trip number, port of arrival, driver name, and then the information about my truck, trailer, and actually it has 3 trailers. 602 is my main trailer, then 605 is the Jeep, and 604 is the last flip axle. That's the license plate that's visible, right? And so it shows the unit number, description, tractor, trailer, and the license plate. And that's it. So now they're ready. They're ready for me. So I printed out, you know, put the USB stick. It's a Windows machine, very easy. Click on the USB stick on the screen, open, and just I printed out my old Michigan permit because it's still valid. I'm gonna just, you know, just for my reference, I can use the route that was here. So because I'm loading very close to the route on the Michigan permit, so it'll help me when tomorrow I'll be working on permits. I'll just order them online, and then when my permit lady comes into office Monday morning, she'll see it on the computer. And then, you know, after the delivery, I'm gonna drive to JC plant, and they want to look at the Jeep, right? Remember I was saying that something is wrong with the Jeep, and so I printed out kind of like supporting documents, right? So this is part of I made it my, basically this is where did I get it? Oh, it's a Fontaine. So this is a part of a Fontaine drawing of the 60-ton that I have, right? And so that's the key 3 measurements are kingpin of the Jeep to the 5th wheel where the trailer is connected, and then kingpin to the first axle, right? And then here, this part from the 5th wheel to the first axle. But of course this is plus this equals this. So mostly it's like 2 most important numbers: kingpin to 5th wheel and 5th wheel to first axle. And now you see a set of numbers here, right? So A, which is kingpin to 5th wheel, this is Fontaine. So the first number is Fontaine, 154 inches. That's what it, you know, if I bought a genuine Fontaine Jeep, so kingpin to 5th wheel would be 154 inches. The second number is my number. So on my Jeep, this distance is only 130 inches. So it's 24 inches shorter than on the Fontaine. And the last number is what I ordered. That was supposed to be my Jeep, which over here is called long neck Jeep. You see, like this is a spec, right? Tandem axle long neck Jeep prepared for SERGEI DRATCHEV. Quote number, everything is cool, and there's a drawing over there. I'll show you in a second that I signed, right? And so this is what I have now, 130 inches. This is what I signed for. This is what I ordered, 164. So my Jeep that I wanted was supposed to be 34 inches longer in here on the neck, right? Now here, no, let's look at here, between 5th wheel and the first axle. So Fontaine is 94. I am now 65, so 30, almost 30 inches shorter here from 5th wheel to this. And what it should be is 84.5. Okay, so look very different, right, from what I have now compared to what I'm supposed to have. And then the last number, kingpin to first axle. So Fontaine is 20 feet 8 inches, which is 248 inches. I am now 195. I should be 248.18. And so I'm gonna show this to JC and hope this persuades them that, you know, I don't have the proper Jeep. And so this is the spec sheet, clearly stating that I was ordering a long neck Jeep. And here's my signature, September 5th, 2019. Price, 52,000 Canadian, right? And here's the drawing. What I was supposed to get with my signature, approved October 1st, 2019. And all the numbers that I used on this one were taken from here. But just one number, the most important number, I would say, like you see here, how the Jeep, and this is the trailer, right? And there's the gap between the end of the Jeep and the front of the neck. And there's a little number in here. It says 1, 2, 12. So there's 12 inches between the rear of the Jeep and the front of the neck. Now on my trailer, it's actually 30 inches. I mean, on the Jeep. On the Jeep, the gap is 30 inches. So big difference, right? So because there's such a big gap, so the wheels are further away from the trailer and from the load. And that's why my Jeep is always underloaded and the trailer is overloaded. And this spot is more narrow, right? So which means that I cannot push the weight close enough to the front of the truck, so I cannot load the steer axle, right? So basically this is my supporting document. These are my supporting documents. That's what I'm gonna bring to the table when talking to the manufacturer. Probably Tuesday, Wednesday. So yeah, so tomorrow will be just easy driving day. I like driving empty. I wish they would pay me for when I'm driving empty. It's very relaxing. It's like a vacation. And I'm gonna shut down real close, 40 miles away from the consignee. And then Monday morning we're gonna load. And hopefully by the time I'm finished loading, again, it's, you know, it's 103,000 pounds. But now I have a bunch of new chains, 4 new binders. We're gonna try those. I'll make sure I'll charge my GoPro. And this time this is not a some kind of restricted area. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to show you the loading, how they load this with a crane on the deck. And so hopefully by the time I'm done with chaining and loading and everything, my permit should be issued. And the plan is to leave the shipper and get real close to the border, probably the same truck stop where I spent 10 days waiting for my Ontario permit. And from there it's only 120 miles, so this would be Monday. And then so Tuesday I can get up at 5 o'clock again, my favorite time when I'm working. And the sunrise, I'm pretty sure it's like 6:15. But Michigan, I can only start driving at sunrise, so maybe don't get up at 5. I'll get up at 5:30, because like I always say, I need 45 minutes. I'm gonna get up at 5:30, you know, go brush my teeth, get coffee, and 6:15 will be the sunrise. I'll be ready to rock and roll, and it's only 2 hours back to Cambridge, where pretty much I am unloading, right? And then either on the same day, Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm gonna drive 2.5 hours to Keswick, Ontario, and deal with the Jeep. And I'll need to call and make sure the people are there, because sometimes they have short working days. And I don't want to disconnect the Jeep. I want to bring the Jeep connected to the truck and the trailer, so this way they'll be able to see that huge gap between the Jeep and the trailer. And I want to show them how I don't have enough room on the neck to move the 5th wheel forward on the truck. And so basically, yeah, it's a wrong Jeep. And then from there, once we're done with the Jeep, I'm not sure what they decide. We'll see, but something should happen. But from there, I'm driving 4 hours north to New Liskeard, Ontario, and then I'm turning east and I'm going to Quebec just a couple of miles east of New Liskeard, and that's where the Temisco Trailers plant is. And I'm dropping off my booster for repairs. And the plan is to tell them to reinforce it, make it like a freaking 70-ton booster. But they said they're gonna check the rest, but mostly they're gonna focus on that pivoting point, on that smaller thing that broke, right? The smaller piece. The larger piece of the booster is fine. I didn't even see anything bent in there, but the smaller piece that's connected to the flip axle, that one really got trashed. And those are my plans for the next few days. And after I'm delivering the booster, I have nothing planned. And actually, I was talking to some guys that have loads, and there was a nice load in Thunder Bay, which is just north of New Liskeard, and there was a couple of loads somewhere here in Ontario, but they were all shipping pretty much as usual, like, you know, today or tomorrow. And I know I won't be available because I still have to do the second load, and I have to deal with the Jeep with the booster. And so I posted my truck as available for Friday, but so far I did not book anything. So we'll see what happens next week. But for now, yeah, the main focus is to get loaded, deliver the load, and get paid. So I hope you guys are having a good weekend. Keep away from all kinds of storms that are coming from the south and the States. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Admiral Sergei out.